My name is Ben Van Cleve, and I will be talking to you about the rules of football. So a football field is 120 yards long and 53.5 yards wide, and the field is divided every 5 yards by a yard line. There are goalposts at the back of every end zone, and you can kick the ball through the goal. And if it's a field goal, it's 3 points. If it's an extra point, it's 1 point. And an extra point comes after a touchdown, and a field goal can come from anywhere on the field. It depends on your leg strength. So the football field, the play is actually 100 yards, but each end zone is 10 yards deep. So that's what makes it 120. And the format of the game is football is a time sport. Different levels do different amount of time each half. And there's 4 quarters, and there's a halftime in between the second and the third quarter. The team with the most points at the end of the game wins the game. The time is counted while plays go on, and the time can stop when a player runs out of bounds with the ball, when there's an incomplete pass, or if there's a first down and they reset the clock they reset the ball, which gives it time to start the clock whenever the ball is set. And to keep going at a good pace, the offense has limited time between plays. For the players, each team may have 11 players on the field at a time, and teams can sub in and out without any restrictions at all. The defensive players can take any spot on the field if they want, and they can move around free at their own will. There are certain defensive positions, but no specific rules defining positions. However, certain positions have rules. The defensive linemen are built to tackle and to run after the rushing plays, and the linebackers are mainly meant to just tackle for the rushing plays, but sometimes they have to drop into coverage. And there are cornerbacks and safeties, and their main goal is to stop the passing plays, but they also can help tackling. Offense players have several rules that define their position. There can only be 7 players lined up on the ball at once, and then the other 4 players must be at least 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage. All offensive players must be set prior to the snap, with exception of one back moving parallel or away from the line of scrimmage. So in football, there are penalties. You have a false start penalty, which is when the offensive line or somebody on the offense moves too soon, and that creates you to go 5 yards back. There is a holding penalty when the offensive line or anybody holds, and that's a 15-yard penalty. There is intentional grounding, which is when the quarterback is in the pocket and he throws the ball he throws the ball with no receiver in the zone, no receiver in the general area, and so that's a loss of downs and also a 15-yard penalty. And there is pass interference on the defense when the quarterback is throwing to a receiver and the defender hits the receiver too soon. There's offsides, which can be on the defense when a defender goes across the line before the snap, or if a defender moves to, if defender, all right, we'll go on to another one. There's also there's a face mask. A face mask penalty is when the defender grabs onto the offensive man's face mask and he drags him down by it, and it's a 15-yard penalty. And there's certain equipment that each player wears. You have to wear a helmet. You have to wear shoulder pads. You have to wear football pants with pads in them. You have to have a jersey on and cleats. You have to wear a mouthpiece, and that's pretty much it for the equipment. So you play with 22 players on the field at all times because there's 11 on each side. And that is pretty much the rules of the whole football game.